good day everyone, it's Warren and Colleen from NQ Explorers at a old ghost town site that we visited about 6 months ago, I think it was. We had a lot of rain since then, so the grasses are rampant and detecting is going to be difficult, but we'll see how we go. What I'm showing you here is an old ford where the coach road crossed this major creek. Now, the reason the town existed was this ford, because for miles in each direction there's no crossable spot for a coach. So as the coaches pushed west, they came through this kind of choke point on the creek. Even when it's flowing a bit, it's crossable. We've had some recent floods where it wouldn't have been crossable because it actually breaks the bank on that side there. But this is the reason the town existed. There was a coaching hotel on the eastern side, which is the coaches heading out west with early settlers and just for general communications. So that when the creek was up and you couldn't cross, well, you had somewhere to stay. But anyway, it was a change station for Cobb and Co as they headed west. And actually, last time I was here, I spoke to the landowner. Interestingly, when this town was moved, there was a new cemetery established further north, but for the short period of time this town was here, there was a cemetery. Obviously, people passed away. It was 1870 after all. Up in this area here is a bush cemetery, which he said he'd seen when he was much younger. He's probably, I don't know, might be in his 80s. And it was all just timber headstones and timber surrounds. So obviously the white ants have eaten that. I went looking for it last time, but in current conditions, it'd be just about impossible to find it. I can't spot any kind of cemetery-like clearing on Google Maps or Google Earth. It's probably so heavily overgrown, but I'd dearly love to discover that cemetery one day. I might come back out here later in the year when it's drier and the grass is down. As the grass seeds, it dies off. It's going to be hard to find that cemetery, but it's up in there somewhere. Anyway, that's what the story is today. We might do a bit of fishing on this lagoon. We just camped up on the bank there. Bit of detecting. I don't know what we're going to find because it's tough going. But last time we were here, we did really well. Colleen actually found a fourpence, a groat. From I think it was 1830 something, and I got a shilling from a similar period. We haven't found any pennies here, I don't think. Anyway, enough chatter, let's get into it. Okay, here's the first target in the old ghost town. Nothing exciting, but it's a repeatable target, that's why I dug it. Piece of melted lead, typical of what you find around old houses and camp areas and bullock camps and that sort of thing. We're on the board. Here's my next repeatable target. It's just an iron ring, but typical of what you'd find where there was horse-drawn implements or sulkies and wagons and things like that. So I think this spot here where this anthill is actually a house site, because there's an old silage pit in the back and lots of iron in the ground. Yeah, it's definitely an old house site. Have a look at this. A little bit of purple ceramic, typical of 1860s, 1870s sites. And a little bit over here, I'll just put the detector down, a larger piece, plain white. So definitely some sort of dwelling right here. Okay, nice repeatable 70, and I've got a brass rivet, no doubt off a saddle or reins or horse tack. That was a good repeatable, all right, as you'd expect. Typical of the sort of stuff you'd find in these towns once again, so that's definitely from the period we're looking at. So the horse tack's going to be typical of what we find, because the town being abandoned by 1910, it's unlikely a motor vehicle was ever here. It was just all horse-drawn, bullock wagons and people on foot. So the last time we were at here, I think, was about 6 months ago, prior to the wet, and even then there was clumpy grass. There is cattle in this paddock, but they're not making much of a dent on this now because we had such a big wet season. The creek down here flooded pretty heavily. I don't think it comes up on this flat, but it definitely goes the other way because the banks are on the other side. So, but we are dealing with these grass clumps today, so we've got smaller coils to work in around the grass clumps. There's a lot of iron, so using a bigger coil to hover wouldn't really work because there's just too much target clutter. Small coils, we're going to miss a lot of spots obviously, but that's how it changes, you know, from wet to dry in these sites, and that's why you should always come back, because it varies so much. but we're just going to run along the creek line down towards where the hotel was, over this way. And there was a series of houses, as I believe, along this old road here. Of course, there wasn't much aerial reconnaissance going on in 1900, so there's no aerial photographs. The earliest photograph I've got, aerial photograph by the RAF, was 1956, I think, when they did a lot of post-war stuff, or Ad Astra did it for them, a civilian company. And there's not a single structure left here. But of course, by that time, no one had lived here for around 50 years. So, you know, basically 1879 everyone left. A few hung on till 1910 when there was a big flood, but it was established in 1865. Okay, where I am now, or just in this area in front of us, I believe the coach road came through here, went down to our right across the creek. And this find is a old handmade iron nail, obviously, but I'd say it's transport related, probably from a wagon, bullock dray, or a, you know, sulky of some description. That's definitely period, and sort of tells me that I am near the road. I believe the road to be here, perhaps the coaching in there, because there's no, I've done hours of research on this site and I haven't been able to find any old plans or maps of the site. But I mean, in the end, it was only here for 12 years, 13 years. So maybe it was never, it was definitely gazetted, but it may not have ever been surveyed. They might have made it up from Brisbane to have a look at this. But anyway, we'll have a crack in this long grass here, see if we can find more of that Bullockie's bell. Okay, I'm deep in the shade in this grove of trees, and this is a very solid repeatable, as you can imagine, brass, and it's a part of a hurricane lamp. I dug one up about a week ago at the old farmhouse we're at, so that is a solid piece of brass and a lovely bit of 19th century history right there. Love it. Okay, along with that lamp part, I've got this little decorative piece of brass. Not really sure if it's lamp related or what that's off, but you can see it's got a line pattern there. Been broken long ago and squashed. Probably stood on by a bullock. I don't really know, but I don't think it's lamp related, but it may be. But it was a good, solid, repeatable target. Well, my next find is a semi-sunbaker, which is fairly typical of what you find in this sort of really dry country after a lot of rain. Little steel buckle. Look at that. Still got the tongue in it. Not brass, obviously, and I didn't detect that. I just walked past and saw it laying on the ground. Well, let's leave him there. Well, a little while ago I was talking about sunbakers and the rain. I just spotted some lovely ceramic behind me there. I'll show you that too, I guess. But look at this sunbaker. That's an old-timers 19th century 4-hole button. It's laying in the sun. Slightly smaller one might be off of a fly off pants or a breast pocket button. I'll just have a look and see if that's got a maker's name. There's that nice piece of ceramic there. Rather larger piece. Blue plate, I guess. Lovely. Leave him there. I'm just working along the creek bank here next to the old track. That's the lagoon in there. I'm going to suggest the townspeople spend a lot of time next to the creek fishing, and because obviously it was a food source for them, apart from what came on wagons. Because I found that for sunbaking button, there's a lot of ceramic and old broken beer bottle glass in here. So I'd say it'd be a good spot to relax in the afternoon in the heat of the summer, because out to the west, to the left, as the sun sets, you've got the shade of the trees and the coolness of the lagoon. Good spot. And yet another sunbaking old iron buckle. Okay. We've got a really tight, compact 8081. Could be a bit of brass coming up here. I'll just move you around here maybe. You can see it alright. Let's see if we can pinpoint it. I don't think it's going to be very deep. over here. $80.81. Could be another lamp part. Be very careful. Look how dry this is. You wouldn't believe how much rain we've had in, and that was only 2 months ago. Look at it now. The outback sun sort of gets rid of the moisture pretty quick. Okay, what do we got? Let's take it really steady here and see if we can unearth it. I'm right on it there now. Just bust the clay balls up, eh? See what we got. Don't see anything yet. In that lump there. What is this? No, it's just a lump of clay. We'll take out a bigger piece if I can. No, that should have got it. Let's have a look. In these clay balls somewhere. Oh, look at this. Saddle brass. Beautiful old shield saddle brass. See the clips on the back there? The clay's caked onto it. But there we go, 8081. That was a rewarding live dig. I don't think there's any pattern or design, but that's definitely 1870s, 1860s saddle brass. Yeah, there it is with a bit of a bush clean. I can't see any design on it. And actually it looks a little asymmetric. So it may not have been machine made, it might have been hand moulded, I don't know. It may just look that way with the dirt on it. Once I clean it all up, we'll know whether there's any design. I mean, usually they don't have much, they're just plain. But yeah, that's a nice old bit of saddle brass. Yeah, I think it is asymmetric. Well, that's a ripper, that one. It was actually in the middle of nowhere. I hadn't had any iron or any targets for 10 or 15 minutes, and then bang, 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 81, 81, 81. Okay, we're just coming up on Colleen here in the grassland. She's got some find to report. After my saddle brass triumph. As well as this cattle pad, this grass is pretty bad in this area. What do you got?
Rum lids and things.
Fundy rum?
Yeah, I found one of these.
Oh, that's a ream drum bone.
Yeah.
Yep,
Is
that'd
it
be
ream
obviously
or-
not 1800s, but
Ream, that was over there.
yeah.
But anyway, down here I've just found a coin.
Oh,
It's
okay.
around 6 inches down. So it doesn't look like it's a penny, it's probably a half, I'd say.
Oh, nice work.
Halfpenny.
Is it Britannia?
I'm not sure, I haven't got my
Okay.
glasses. But
We'll just give it a clean and we'll get a date for you back shortly. Okay, so what do we got?
1861. And it looks like it's in really good condition once it gets cleaned up well.
Yeah.
So that's quite old, isn't it?
What a ripper. 1861. There's a bit of wear on it, but this was established 1865, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's what you said.
that's you know, come out here and one of the first with one of the first settlers into this town. What a great find.
Yeah, that's pretty
Nice work.
exciting. And all this grass.
Yeah. You have to talk, Kate.
I found this. Looks like it's
I think it's, is it
purposeful.
a yoke?
Oh yes, yeah, probably. Look.
Not very big, but yeah. Nice work.
Leather straps through there. And
That's beautiful old bit of iron.
Hmm.
Nice one. Well, on that high note, we'll head back to the camp over there. You can see the caravan for a cup of tea. And we've got some lamingtons for morning tea. It's around probably about 10 or 10:30 in the morning. Maybe 27 degrees today, so it's a really pleasant day to be out detecting. There is a chance of a thunderstorm this afternoon, but it's pretty unlikely just here, I think. But we'll see how we go. I'll see you back at the van for morning tea. Okay, I'm back at camp to share the setup. Someone's had a fire ring here, but I'm not going to light a fire here. We're going to cook on gas because there's so much dry grass. It's just not worth the risk of the fire, and this poor fella would get burnt out if it got away. Beautiful spot on the lagoon. There's our little 14-foot off-road van. So we've got the cooking set up there in the Primus. We've got a shower and toilet tent there. Hot shower at night because we just got a bucket of, I've got a jerry can, we just jerry can the water and tip some boiling water into the bucket, and we've got a little pump and a nice hot shower, which makes all the difference out here in the bush. But yeah, that's our setup. So anyway, what we'll do now is we'll put the belly on, have a cup of tea. Well, a regional airliner just flew over, twin turboprop Embraer probably, heading west. Now that's how you get around these days out here. But of course, in 1860, up to the 1880 period, Cobb and Co were reigned supreme in this area with their big Concorde thoroughbrace coaches. They could take up to 20 passengers heading west through here, and they stopped here for the night. Like any modern airline or any modern bus company, they've got a finite number of coaches and a very strict roster. And that's what really brought Cobb and Co to prominence. There were plenty of stage lines in Australia around the time of the gold rush, particularly in Victoria and New South Wales, but Cobb and Co were outstanding in that they provided a timely service. They were generally on time. You know, I don't know, plus or minus a day, I guess, but I don't know what on time meant in those days. But they were very reliable, and that's why they grew and they expanded and bought some of the smaller stage lines, and they became the biggest coach line in the world. But in the late 1860s, this was the main overnight stop for the passengers. So they get a hot meal and they get beer and they get whiskey and wine or whatever in the pub, and good accommodation. However, there was an incident in the late 1860s here which was very interesting. So the coach came in from the east. I believe there were 2 coaches a week through here, east and west. Anyway, the coach comes in one evening, passengers all go in, they get their hot meal, they get shown to their rooms, nice warm bed and maybe even a warm bath. The driver goes into the bar, and he the way it was, the newspaper article was written was really interesting, but it becomes amorous with one of the local young ladies, and she really falls for him. This all happens in the bar. What happens next though is quite bizarre. He disappears with her into the night and goes back to her house, which is here somewhere. I don't know what she had, but what the situation was. There was no details. Next morning, the passengers come out. The coach is waiting. The horses are still in the yard. No sign of the driver. What's going on? Anyway, to cut a long story short, the driver shacked up with this young woman in this town for a week. He reappeared a week later, so there was all sorts of complaints and threats of legal action against Cobb and Co because there was a crate of fruit was spoiled while they were waiting, and there was a businessman who had an appointment out west who missed his appointment because the coachman spent a week in this woman's residence. After a week, he reappears, hitches the horses back up onto the coach, ready to go at 8 o'clock in the morning like nothing had happened. It was just the most humorous incident, but the way it was written in that beautiful 1800s newspaper speak, it was just fantastic. But there are a bunch of characters, and you can imagine the outrage and what it did to Cobb and Co, because they've got a coach sitting here idle for a week. I don't know how they got out of that situation. It would have been a bit of an issue, but anyway, I thought that was a pretty humorous story that the coachman just disappeared for a whole week. I mean, overnight you'd sort of excuse, but not a week. Anyway, let's go and have some morning tea. Okay, we're back into it. It's actually after lunch now. We had a long lunch at camp. And I've got an 82 here, which is a lovely clean signal, and I'd say it's saddle brass. It's a chunk of a brass disc with a brass shaft on it. Not really sure what its function is, but it was a great target ID, consistent on the Max. Nice. Righto, sorry this is straight into the sun, but Colleen's over here on the creek bank. Claims she's found a threepence, but an Elizabeth threepence, so it's a 1950s or 60s coin. Last time I was here, I think this must have been an old picnic area in the 50s, because I found a 50% sixpence there last time, and now she's got a threepence. That's worth doing this creek bank. I think it's a fisherman's drop, eh? Oh, wait a minute. What's the year again?
1957.
That was a good year.
Yeah, what's a good year? Yeah, look. You see it in the sun?
Oh yeah.
And
Nice.
there's Elizabeth on that side.
So what was your target ID?
It was only quite low, about 65, 67.
Yeah, so
yeah.
57. Yeah. So they went 50% silver in 46. So
Yes,
Yeah.
that's 50, yeah.
yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
well
That's
done.
a coin. So
As
that's
you can,
nice.
there's a lot of fishing gear along here. They're like sinkers, isn't there?
Yeah, and actually I've picked up a bit of lead too.
Yeah, lead.
Yeah.
I think they were moulding sinkers and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think that's from the time of the old town.
No, but still,
No. Well, that's great.
it's still part of
Nice
history.
coin.
Yeah.
Silver. Okay, well, Colleen was definitely the winner of the morning session with that 1861 coin. I thought this afternoon I'm going to have to go hard to beat that. She's already got a half silver on the board there, so I better stop digging little bits of brass and find some real relics. Okay, she's on another coin. Okay, what have we got? What's the report this time?
Actually, it's jumping from 55 to 62.
Yeah.
But not quite sure what it's going to be. It's a round one. It's a coin. I can see it in here.
Roundness.
See? Just there. It might be a modern one. I'm not sure. See there?
Oh, yeah.
I'll just turn that off. Don't need that.
Geez, I know you've only got that 5x8 and smashing this stuff in this grass. That's a...
Oh.
Is it a halfpenny?
Don't know. Maybe need to get some sun on it. Either it's a Elizabeth.
It could be 10
Maybe
cents,
10
eh?
cents. Yeah, 10
10
cents.
cents. Oh, well,
Yeah.
never mind.
No, it's still
That's
good.
not got nothing to do with the threepence you found.
No,
It's a different drop.
Yep.
Okay.
after 66.
Yeah. Pro 66, that's right. Righto.
Mhm.
On the back of Colleen's coins, it's got a ripper of a find here. It's gilt, and it's definitely period. Let's have a look at it. Okay, there it is. It's a beautiful gilt piece of Victoriana. It's a brooch, a lady's brooch, a bird in flight, the big tail feathers coming down. You can see it's had a pin on the back. That has had stones in that wing, I'd say. Costume jewellery, no doubt, but it's been gilt, and it's still got a lot of gilt on it. Let's give it a careful clean and see if we can get a maker's name or something off the back. Awesome. Okay, that's the best as I've cleaned it in the bush. We'll get back to camp and put a bit of warm soapy water and gentle toothbrush on it. Heavily gilt. It's got a jewel, no doubt that's a diamond of some remarkable number of carats as an eye, and it's had other stones in the wing there. And on the back, I can't see any maker's name, but there may be. I mean, that's not a cheap bit of jewellery for 1870. That is beautiful. Interesting spot where I found this. It's actually a path to the old ford. That's the old ford where I did the intro this morning. And just before that big stump there, there's a foot track going down. There's one here too. So no doubt the townspeople went down here fishing and or swimming. I'm not sure what other use there'd be for a foot track. I'd say there'd be a lot of fishing. No doubt the Cobb and Co change station supplemented the meals with fish from this lagoon. But this may have been a footpath, a walking path down to the creek that was quite well used. So I'll continue down towards the creek. Could it have been the coachman's lady going down for a dip, lost that golden brooch that he bestowed upon her? Perhaps. Sounds like a good story. Okay, not far from the lady's brooch. I thought it was a fishing sinker, but it's not. It's a musket ball. That's probably too big calibre for a pistol ball. Geez, these little black ants have a go at you. Yeah, probably a shot musket ball. You can see it's been moulded. And there's the sprue. Oh no, it's probably a drop musket ball actually. When you look at that, you can still see the sprue on it. I don't think it's been down a barrel, but it's not a fishing sinker, that one. I don't know what the some shooting going on and disrobing on the way to the creek. Crazy times in the old town. Okay, well, I went down the track as I theorised it may be used for a bit of foot traffic, and I got a coin, but it's generations after that badge, the brooch, lady's brooch, It's 1955 QE2 50% threepence. Similar to the one Colleen just got. She's got a 57. So a bit of fishing went on here 100 years after it was, almost 100 years after the original settlers. So, well, no doubt more fishing goes on today. In fact, we intend to do a bit tonight. Well, hopefully we don't drop any coins. But anyway, that's nice. Little 50% silver to round out the middle of the afternoon. Okay, I haven't cleaned up these digs yet. That where I've got the bits across bark, that's where I found that gilt flying bird brooch. And as Colin suggested, I'll take a sample of soil from there and see if those little jewels are in the soil. I'll take it home and pan it in the backyard and see if there's any jewels in there from the brooch. And that was a deep target, and so is this, about 6 inches down. It's a whisper of a signal. Could be associated with that lady's garments. There's a little brass, delicate little brass button from the 1800s. Look at that. That's definitely a lady's button, very delicate one. Righto. Lots of little targets in this area. It's a really interesting little spot, actually. Okay, this hole, no great interest, but it's a lovely bit of thick china. An old china teacup, I'd say, or a teapot. Quite a large item, maybe, with that kind of thickness. And the first old matchbox I've seen here, that's a Vesta matchbox, probably Bell and Black London or something like that. That's definitely what it is, though. Oh, actually, I think I can see London written there. It's pretty corroded, but that's definitely Vesta matches. We actually have whole examples of these in the display. They've still got the striking face and the little shelf inside, and they open and close. I've oiled them to keep them that way, but I found them in mullock in the gold fields, that kind of thing, where they get preserved because they're not sitting in wet ground like this would be for 150 years. Nice. The bird life's heading down to the lagoon there for a drink. There's a bit of activity down there with the birds. A bit of activity here too. Nothing really exciting. It's an escutcheon iron. A couple of cutouts where it's been on a door, or a tongue and groove sort of door situation from a building maybe, or maybe it was off a trunk. Usually the trunk pieces are brass, but I don't really know. But yeah, little kiwi. Nice if the skeleton kiwi's still here. Well, we've got some dark clouds rolling in from the west. I don't think it's going to bring any rain. Possibly 0.2 of a mil was predicted, so that's not going to bother us. Going to lose a light soon though. We've got another half day near tomorrow probably, and we're on a 6-day trip out west. We've got a few old sites we're going to look at. I've got quite a lot of sites lined up because of this grass situation. I don't know how much of them are going to be actually detectable. A couple of old one-room schoolhouses and some old abandoned railway homes, that sort of thing, from the early 1900s. So should get a good series of videos made. We've had a great day in here today, but we'll do a bit more tomorrow before we sign off and head out. Well, it's the following morning. As predicted, we had quite a bit of rain last night. Not really an issue because the ground was so dry, it basically got soaked up. We've only got a few K of dirt to get out of here, and there's no creek crossing, so that's all good. But we're not going to do any detecting this morning because it could be a bit damp later on. I'm going to pack the camp up anyway. So what we're going to do is pack the camp up. We'll head into town, and then we've got a couple of other sites we're going to do over the next 5 or 6 days. Old school sites, and as I mentioned earlier, old railway houses that are long gone. So it's goodbye from the old ghost town. I hope you enjoyed that little video. I'll probably award myself the find of the day for that golden phoenix. That was an awesome find. One of those things that turns your day around in an instant with metal detecting, and just sensational to find something like that that connected me to this old town long ago, when some woman in a long flowing Victorian dress lost a brooch there on the side of the coach road. Anyway, thanks for watching everyone, and happy fossicking. Bye for now.